Thanks indeed for staying with us. The program is still this morning on ITV. It's now time for us to talk aviation, one very important sector. Many persons are already raising some issues here. Some are talking about the issue of the flight ticketing. I'll be asking that question very soon. The one that really came out very disturbing is the attitude of some high-profile government officials who largely did not submit themselves, according to report, to COVID-19 what do you call it now, health protocols, and that became very disturbing. Other air travelers complained bitterly. Some fan officials complained. Airport health officers complained very bitterly here. And some are saying in some civilized climes, some guys should by this time be behind bars. You cannot sit down and make the whole airport not safe, particularly when most persons who are testing are positive from that high-profile category. Lot worrisome one here, and we are believing that for us to actually fight COVID-19 and beside COVID-19, fix the country, we must get the right attitude, particularly those who are holding public officers, who are icons that many persons are watching up to. My name is Ikaruata. It's now time for us to talk aviation, and we've got one man who have come to love it so much. It's a game of passion. Many got what they like here. Some love politics. They play it day or night. Dino Melani will tell you, hey guys, don't talk with me. I love cars. I love cars. I love it so much I can even have 100 litter the entire premises. I'm happy seeing those cars. Some love perfume. Some other ones love some other things. Some other persons love money. Some other persons as well may just love charity, like Mother Teresa. Everyone got, but Mr. Gordon Ike had come to so love the aviation sector, love it so passionately. And last night he wants to talk to me, and I forgot I couldn't actually get that call. But this one, welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome, very much. Okay, this is the miniature here. Very nice one here. Welcome. Well, let's start off first here. We'll come to the attitude of air travelers, but give us a brief of what the airfare is like at the moment. And I know you are too careful. That's one thing I know. You told me that living is an art. I wrote that somewhere, and I put a quote that living is an art, that we must master the art of living. You must be very careful. I don't know whether you have traveled, but I know you are very careful and taking your time how you do so many things here. The question is, what's the airfare like?
I must tell you that I can't give you an answer to that. The reason is I can only speculate based on what third parties said to me.
Okay.
Reason is that I haven't done a trip since it started, and I was one of those who told not just only Nigeria but the world that International Air Transport Association (IATA) made it clear that social distancing or physical distancing within the airplane must not happen because the airlines, economically speaking, cannot afford to lose revenue, because revenue is directly proportional to safety as far as aviation is concerned. And so they continue. It was a recommendation, by the way. It wasn't a law that must bear down on nations of the world that you must obey. No, it was a recommendation. But then the people of the world understood and agreed. And so I in advance, 2-3 weeks to the resumption of flight, I was all over the place. I was invited all over the places, to speak on those, and I continue to say that the social and physical distancing wouldn't happen. I would be surprised if it did. And so I was glad to find out that it didn't happen. So airlines have absolutely no business jacking up flight fares. They have absolutely no reason to do that. So if I get information that people are paying much more than they paid before COVID-19, then we'll have to ask the airlines questions about what they think they are doing.
I'm looking at it from that perspective now. One question before we come to the issue of high profile sustainability. For now, when you go to the airport, it's like you are going to touch a COVID-19 patient. Everyone will disinfect you. Everyone is careful. Everyone is suspicious. Everyone is up and doing and alive to their duties. The problem many will be asking, how sustainable is this?
Yeah, I also touched on that. If you watched my program on NTA about a week ago, this particular issue also came up, and I made it clear that my worry is that we don't seem to have been brought up to keep routines. I always give this analogy or set this example of how we behave. If you employ an average Nigerian and say to him or her, your duty is to make sure that this airplane miniature stays this way. We have employed you to pay you 50,000 naira a month, and your job is keep an eye on this miniature. We have a reason why we want it to be in this position. Don't bother to know what our reasons are, but your job is keep an eye on it. Anytime by any accident or by some event or whatever, it changes position. Your job is put it back in that angle that we asked you and we employed you for. The average Nigerian waits 1 week. This thing is not moving. It's not shifting. Another week, it's not shifting. You know what he says next to his friends? Oh boy, this thing, no, they move. They just keep me there. Just they look like morose. I don't tire.
It travels.
The very moment he walks away to play around, leaving his duty post, this thing moves, and nobody is there to put it back. And then the reason for which it was set to be in this position happens and causes some kind of destruction and some kind of expensive damage. And then he comes and says, Organa devil, I don't know why I come out that day.
My village people.
Maybe my village people want me to lose my job. This is a silly thing that goes on, and believe you me, it is a case of not bringing up a generation of Nigerians right from nursery school, primary, secondary, who understand the meaning of diligence
and discipline.
And discipline. If you have a duty, you set your eyes, set your mind on your duty. Make sure within those hours that you've been committed to working for the day, that you diligently get your job done and then earn your sweet pay. That is what the problem is. So coming back to your question, I had asked the question. I love all the beautiful things that have taken place at the airport. All the protocol that's been put in place. Everything is so sweet and nice. I commend the Honorable Minister Hadi Sirika and his colleagues. The Managing Director of FAN, Captain Yadudu, and all the officers there. I mean, I must also compliment Mrs. Henrietta Yakubu of who's GM Corporate Affairs, and sitting all around the clock at the airport and ensuring that they give us this situation we have on our hands right now. But the big question is, how long are we going to sustain this? I hope we sustain it for all time. It's not even when coronavirus suddenly disappears into thin air.
The robot will die.
The issue of robot, I've had people privately ask me the question. One particular, friend of mine who went to the airport to do some, transaction or whatever, and then he said to me he was privileged to get through to the place. He was very interested in taking a look at the robot and how he behaved. And then I quickly said to him, "You are outdated. That thing was just a demonstration," because Mrs. Yakubu Henrietta made it clear in one of the radio programs on Armed Forces Radio 107.7 that she was connected via phone. I was live in the studio, but she was connected via phone, and she made it clear to the producer of that program and my humble self sitting in the studio that, listen, the robot was, on the day it was shown on TV, was for demonstration to show how it will help reduce human contact and all those, and that the owners brought it there programmed to show how it will serve us. and that it was project. What was it? I'm trying to use her.
Work in progress.
Work in progress. Yes, that was her. That was her language. And it was a work in progress, and that in a near future, it will be done, and we will begin to see those robots. So what Nigerians saw on that fateful day on TV was mere demonstration about how it will work if eventually it gets deployed. But at the moment, it's not yet deployed. So they were honest about it, but unfortunately, people who watched on TV, perhaps on that day, it was not made clear to viewers that it was only demonstration that was taking place. Viewers had the impression that it was there. The
PTF took journalists there. Yes. Everyone went through. Yeah. The robot checked them.
That's right.
I gave them pass mark, cleared them, and they were all happy about
it. Correct.
And it went perfectly well. Yeah. And the next thing, the robots all
disappeared. No, but actually, it was a sleep. It was a sleep on the part of the Honorable Minister. If it had occurred to him, he should have made it clear on that day that we're doing the demonstration at the moment. This will come, but it will not be immediately. It's all a budgetary thing. Once we have the budget approved and it's in the budget that they will see, maybe supplementary budget or wherever, we would rule it out. If he had
given that details,
yes, perhaps those questions will not have a reason. It was just a mere human memory sleep on the part of
after all of this now,
yes.
Can we, like what you raised,
yes.
Can we ensure that this process we are going through, intensive health check, ensuring intensive hygiene, can it be sustained?
It's all the same thing that we've been talking about.
It's just the fear I got.
Our hope, now that we are hammering on the sustainability of what's going on, it is our hope that those that are driving the process, who are definitely watching, if they're not watching, their friends and family members are also watching, would drive it home to them that Nigerians are asking questions, will these be sustained? And now that we are hammering, we're doing our bit, we're adding value, and we're not asking questions. Can we sustain this? I guess those that are involved, have their own personality, pride and honor to protect. So they will do everything to ensure that we sustain, the standard we have now. Sustainability is an issue, I agree.
Okay, let me tell this story. I think it's part of what the topic is for this morning. Someone once told me that there was this scenario that played out many years ago in China when a top Nigerian military chief, very many years ago, went to China, and along the line, early in the morning, was rushing for an engagement, and he just came down from the hotel and came to the reception and was to cross a particular point, and a cleaner had to block him with the broom. And the next thing, he was trying to go to mass. The cleaner said no, couldn't speak English very well, and showed him that, please, you can't take here now, the floor is wet, take the other way. And the man insists on going, and the cleaner keep blocking him, and the other military guys with him were shocked, and he blocked, and the cleaner insisted, you must take that place. We've cordoned off this area, you can't cross here. Go through that place. This floor is wet, you can slip up. And after all the argument, the cleaner was so stubborn about it, and they had to go there. And the guy said, if this person tried this in Nigeria, you are finished for life. Now, we're looking at high-profile travelers. During the week, we got reports of people disobeying COVID-19 health protocols.
Yes, that's correct.
Can we take it from there?
Yeah.
Are we not starting on the wrong footing?
Very sad, really. I'm going to read out what the very next day when this happened, Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria rolled out
press statement.
Yes, a press statement, and I'll read straight away because I have a copy on my phone. The management of the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria hereby strongly condemn the conduct of the former governor of Zamfara State, Alhaji Abdulaziz Yari, who blatantly violated the COVID-19 public health procedures on travels at the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport on Saturday, 11th July 2020. He refused to adhere to the protocols and procedures put in place by the federal government through the Presidential Task Force PTF on COVID-19 by forcefully pushing away a member of staff of the Environment Department when he insisted that his luggage must be disinfected. The former governor said to the member of staff that he should have known he's a VIP. So Fan went on to say, Fan wishes to use this medium to draw the attention of all airport users to ensure they adhere strictly to the public health travel protocols put in place to safeguard air travelers against the spread of COVID-19 pandemic. Fan also advises all and sundry, especially government officials and VIPs, to provide leadership by following the laid down procedures accordingly. Fan will not hesitate to do what is needful within the nation's airports to guarantee the safety of our stakeholders and passengers. That was what Fan rolled out.
But why was the luggage still okay? Why was he allowed to travel?
That is the point. The report.
If ex-governor Ayari refused to actually get himself disinfected, the luggage disinfected, then he should have been asked to go back home.
That's correct. The issue again is we need to empower workers that we have put in place to do certain jobs. Empower them in terms of assuring them that no one, no matter how big, can tamper with their jobs when they are doing the right thing. You know, if we don't send out the signal and empower these young people doing this job for us, that listen, get the job done, no matter how big the man is or the woman is, be he or she a governor or whatever, or whatever who the person is, insist that the right thing is done. If the individual refuses to do the right thing, stop the further movement of the individual. If he wants a physical fight, he gets a fight. I mean, that is, once we empower people and assure them that, listen, your job is secured for as long as you're doing what you've been asked to do and that you haven't crossed the red line, and be sure that we are behind you. If that message gets across, you will have confident young people who would resist such irresponsible acts. You know,
but what is the problem? The high-profile people like Abdulaziz Yari, I have.
There was another one that was quoted about one Fintry.
Fintry, the governor of Adamawa State.
That's why his own case was
in the media. But why can't high-profile persons here obey the law? You travel to countries across the world, and you stand in a train. You come here and you want to become the Lord of Moria.
That's right.
You want to become the Fuda Lord. You want to become king. You want to become his lordship, his eminence here.
Yeah.
Why is it so difficult for a man to have the luggage disinfected?
Horrible attitude. Horrible. Horrible. For his own good, by the way, and the good of all the innocent passengers in that hand luggage alone could easily have infected people in the airport, in the airplane, very easily. Because you don't know where he got it from, where he was coming from.
You don't even know who touched it. You don't even know where you drop it. You don't even know what.
A whole lot of asymptomatic assistants who would have escorted him to the airport, who would have handled the hand luggage until he got to the entrance gate and handed over to him. They would have left the virus on the handle of the bag. I mean, even himself is not safe. So, but believe you me, there's no other way to describe it other than that people are just extremely silly.
But in this context now, should it not have been an ex-governor, or like the Adamawa own a current governor now? Can a poor man who is just traveling, who know nobody, who is a father of nobody and had not held any prominent position, get to that airport and do such
it's not possible.
I don't think anybody will allow him to
As a matter of fact, the thing so infuriated me that I picked up my phone and called the senior staff of FAN. I wasn't just satisfied by calling. I got into my car, drove to the airport, and on that day I met nothing less than 4 or 5 directors of Federal Airports Authority, including the MD himself, and I made it clear that they needed to really put their feet down to ensure that things like this don't happen, again, and are not tolerated. And I was happy. I went home on that fateful day, really feeling good, because they said to me, listen, we have received, I'm quoting them, we have received ministerial order to enforce compliance. That the minister had reported that to Mr. President, and Mr. President had instructed the Honorable Minister Hadi Sirika, listen, get the job done. And then he in turn, informed the managing director of FAN, get the job done. And one of the things that will happen, as I heard on that day, anyone that breaks that rule again will be banned from
using can they use him, having done this wrong thing, as a case study now, discipline him? Because for now he has walked away, he's a free man. Can they discipline him with this, that from henceforth he can't fly on any of the country's airport until he tendered an unreserved apology for breaking the rules and doing what is inappropriate?
My brother, my sister, papa, mama, pikin. Corona, no big pass us. We go fight time, we go win. As long as we remember to always do the right thing. Wash your hands, love each other, we go win. Corona, not the virus, we be worry human being. You no get let go, but you dey waka from person to person. But we fit beat time, we fit stop time, if we maintain good hygiene and practice social distancing. We go no shaking hands with your neighbor. Blow them a kiss from afar. Use soap and water to wage war. Let's show this thing who we are. We are special.
Okay, thanks for staying with us. Sincere apology for that. Just quickly, our time is flying here. Mr. Gordon and Ike is in the studio. We're going through the attitude of high-profile air travelers, which have become very worrisome. Mr. Gordon Ike read the statement by FAN over the attitude of ex-governor Abdulaziz Yari of Zamfara State, who was also the former chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum here. You're talking about why this should be.
Yes.
And why we should
I noticed a drawback in the whole thing. It would appear that the CCTV camera in that airport that was in Kano, it would appear that that CCTV camera had technical issues and they couldn't get a video evidence of that event. However, the officer that encountered him...
And those around him watched it.
Of course. The officer that encountered him and his colleagues confirmed that to the managing director of FAN, that incident took place. That the man shoved him aside and said, don't you know we are VIPs? And walked past and didn't let him sanitize it. But so this is one of the issues. I made it clear during that short meeting with the directors and of FAN that listen, while we hope that our CCTV is working to get us some of these clips, we should also, for this particular period that this whole thing is raging, and I'm talking about the coronavirus pandemic is still raging, we should have some, handheld cameras, really recording events at the airport at the moment. Okay. It doesn't take much, and these cameras are not too expensive. You can have some digital ones handled by a few young people dotted in certain corners, and only turned on when there is a flight process going on, and recording all the movement and all the attitude of all the people, so that if anyone misbehaves, that person cannot deny, because the information rolling out right now is that those corporates are denying, and perhaps they're already aware that no camera caught them as a proof or that happened. But those young people cannot, of all the passengers that boarded the airplane on that day, just single out a man and lie against him. It's not possible. And for such a highly placed individual, it's just not possible for those young people to single him out and tell tales about him, of all the passengers. So I believe it happened. Unfortunately, it even seemed that the CCTV cameras at that Kano airport are serviceable and doing well. So so the issue of still punishing him in retrospect is
not so realistic.
It's a challenge.
No, but going forward now, as we conclude this, what do you think we can do as a nation to actually get those who are on top to lead by example and do what is appropriate?
It's as simple
than feeling this big man. We call them big man, and they feel that what George Orwell wrote in the prose, the Animal Farm, all animals are equal. But some guys are
more equal than others.
Than the others.
This principle is very simple and straightforward. Send a strong signal and show that we have laws.
Good.
That our laws have teeth.
Good.
That they can bite.
And bite very well.
And that they're willing to bite. And we bite when they catch you doing the wrong thing. You see, if that signal doesn't get across, no one gets serious. It's human nature. I mean, I've been giving numerous examples of how these things work. We have Nigerians living abroad, living in the United States of America, living in the UK, and so many other parts of the civilized world. And if you get in there, the one that thrilled me most was one thing I observed one day, that was in Orlando, Florida. I stood by a crossroad where they had what they call in America stop sign.
Yeah.
Stop, no traffic light.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely none. Just a stop sign. Guess what, Arthur? The rule there was that
if anyone stands there, all the vehicles stop.
Oh, not even that bit that thrilled me. I was standing and looking on, and I was like, wow. Are these human beings, or are they robots? On the crossroad, in the evening, when people were rushing back from work, and there was a whole long queue on 4 sides of the road. The rule is, if you're coming from this corner and you're number 1 car to the junction, because stop means get there whether there's car or not. Stop and then move forward. That is the rule. Now, if they have cars all over the place, the rule is this man here moving, the person behind him stop. The other end moving, the person behind him stop. The other end moving, the person behind him stop. And you see this like magic. Magic.
Extreme accuracy.
Going right around. And look at the drivers that are obeying this. No police, nothing but cameras are there watching you anywhere. And then most of them Nigerians.
Obey.
They will get there, boom, stop. And then, and the one that amazed me was that there was a guy, it was his turn to move in. Maybe he lost memory of the rounds.
Yeah.
And then the guy next to him wound down and said, hey, come on. Because if he didn't move in, it wasn't his own turn to move in. Imagine if he was here in Abuja.
Yeah.
You had the stop sign and somebody delayed for 1 second, everybody else will start jumping in. It's just attitude. Attitude. We haven't been trained. We haven't been trained to obey laws and to realize that there is consequence. That's why crooks can dupe you and say, take me to police. Oh, Kukuma go court. That one, better. I'll keep you there for 15 years.
We'll drag it from there. I think
shameless animals.
We need to learn from that here. The civilized client, what we call them, or the civilized client, or the sane client. They're human beings like us as well. Like what he raised, they are just stood at the zebra crossing. I think in Tel Aviv or Jerusalem, and everyone stopped, and the queue was building, and they were begging me to cross. I was to cross, but I never knew it was a zebra. I thought it was a normal Nigerian thing where somebody just want to break it.
No car will move until you cross.
But here, you try here, hey guys, the orthopedic doctors are going to do some work on the legs.
Oh, yes.
Thank you for coming.
Yes.
A wonderful time having you here. I hope we'll be having you more and doing less of Skyping. A nice time here. But let's pray that Governor Yari and those big men will learn to behave appropriately. Thanks for coming.
And sad that they were denying. I mean, it would have been more honorable if they admitted they did that and apologized. Yes, that would have been more honorable. Now we have big men denying as well. Telling lies is horrible.
They are big men. They are
horrible.
Big men.
Horrible. Horrible.
Okay.
Horrible.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, that's how we can go on the program here. Let's allow Mr. Goddy in NEK go catch some rest. He worked throughout the night here and this morning here, but I know for sure that he's committed. But what we're taking on from this is that, hey, you guys who are big guys here, high-profile travelers, please obey the road, obey the laws. They are for your own safety. If that bag is disinfected, if you wash your hands, clean your hands with sanitizer, go into the plane, sit properly here, you can have your VIP. Leave us, we manage our economy, but just do what is right. Thank you.
And the plane is so well built, so well built. The air conditioning system is so beautiful that it doesn't, even if you sneeze out coronavirus, it sucks it in, sends it to a heater, kill it, and then give you fresh air. That's what happens with the air conditioning system of airplanes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gordon. Okay, at this point, we'll take a break. When we come back from the break, we will be looking at the multiple can of worms, the NDDC. Mr. Gideon Joe is around here. Multiple cans of worm here. Just put the can of worm here, and somewhat you see political maggot. It stinks after this break.